Hi everyone, thank you for coming to our first session of 2021, Nexa Training and Workshops. Really pleased to have an external speaker and expert talking to us today. This is being recorded, so you'll be able to watch it back in your own time. But I'm going to hand you straight over to Nick Jervis in a second, who is a former solicitor and is now one of the country's leading law firm marketeers. So I'm going to mute myself and we're all going to learn lots from Nick. So Nick, I'm just going to pass straight on to you.
Thank you, and hello to everyone. Thanks for joining me. I'll aim to get this done in around 45 minutes for you, just so you know where we're at. And my main purpose today is to give you an idea of marketing fundamentals. One of the reasons I wrote the book, which I'll come to in a minute, was to make sure that people understood what was good and what was bad marketing when it comes to marketing a law firm, so that you don't waste money in the wrong places. Because I've been a marketing consultant since 2003 full-time now, and there's nothing frustrates me more than having someone come to me that's spent a fortune on marketing but in all the wrong places and thinks it doesn't work. So if I can give you a grasp of what you should look to do today and the best methods of marketing for law firms, then that's what I'm after doing. I've also got some resources for you, and if you have a website or you have specific questions related to your legal service area, please by all means put them in the chat box. And Christo will field them and pass them to me in the order they come in, and I'll work through them at the end. So yeah, my background, I was a solicitor from 91 to 2003, and since 2003, full-time law firm marketing consultant, spending all day, every day, trying to get more clients for law firms. I've also spent a lot of my own money generating leads for law firms, and so everything I do is based on what I've tried and tested. It's not theory, it's not fluff. It's actually, okay, we spent money, we got more back than we spent, we'll do it again, we'll improve it and go some more. My client base, I've probably got a spend which is far in excess of 2 million online and offline for my clients in all ranges of legal services across the UK and Ireland and Scotland. I've written a book about marketing called The Law Firm Growth Formula, which I'm pleased to say was a bestseller on Amazon. And I speak with a lot of consultant solicitors every year. It's obviously a growing area, and you know they come to me because they have done as you've done. Thought, well, I'd like to be my own person, generate my own fees, and keep a good share of them, and then get to the point when again I could do with some more work coming in. So I've spoken with a lot of consultant solicitors and showed them how to get some results. So let's move on to the fundamentals. And this is really key, because the number of, like I say, if I can get you to understand this, it's going to make your decision-making process when it comes to marketing so much easier. And I'm a big fan of Easy Life Marketing, which is getting someone to come and ask you about your services at the precise moment in time that they are looking for your help. Now, that doesn't happen on Facebook because you don't ever go to Facebook looking for a solicitor. But it does happen on Google, where I go looking for a solicitor, or if I ask someone who knows you, who recommends me to you. Again, it's because I'm at that point where I'm looking to buy your services, and I've met a lot of solicitors that spent a lot of money on social media, a lot of time on social media, but very few that have got a return on investment on it. And that's because you just don't have the buying intent behind the search on Facebook. You go to Facebook or social media to get some snippets of news, to see family, friends, etc. And the same is true of newspaper advertising, radio advertisements, TV. It's interruption marketing, because your primary purpose of watching that source or reading that paper is not to look for a solicitor. It's to read the paper or to watch a TV program. But if you can get in front of your clients at the precise moment in time that they are looking for your services, then that's the best place to be. And those are what I call the marketing arteries. I'm going to take you through each of those later on. The other key thing that's worth understanding is that there are two different types of marketing DNA. So depending on what services you offer, you either have you might not know it, but you've got a marketing DNA of now or nurture. If you're in the now category, you're in the far better, easier position, in that someone goes looking for your services and will instantly pick up the phone, call you, email you, fill in your inquiry form, ask you to help them. It's a wonderful thing to have and to be in that position, because it's very easy to get more clients. So the type of clients that type of services that fits would be conveyancing. You're moving house, you're not looking for a quote for 6 months time, you want to move house now. Personal injury, If you're having a business dispute that needs sorting out quickly, anything where there's immediate pain or need that needs fixing, or an itch that needs scratching, then that puts you in the marketing DNA now category. And part of the resources, because I realize we've only got a short period of time today, part of the resources I'll give you goes into a bit more detail about this so you can think more carefully about it. But the key thing is the difference with now is that you go for the instant inquiry, the telephone, the email, the completed inquiry form, and that's all you have to ask for. And if you've got the beauty of a now business and now legal service, you can turn on the tap and you can get clients coming to you tomorrow. It's very much quicker to get results with a DNA Now service. With DNA Nurture, it's not quite so quick. So I'd definitely be in that category as a marketing consultant, because sadly for me, no one wakes up in the morning and goes to Google and says, I want a marketing consultant now. What they do is they go to Google and say, I need more clients. How do I get them? And they come on my website and they download my guide, and then I email them and give them more advice and help. And eventually they go to the point and they go, gosh, that Nick goes on a lot. I'll just have a chat with him and see if he can fix my problem and get me some more clients. So with a nurture business, it's very much about growing your contact list and growing your email list. And I'm going to show you some details on that shortly. So if you're in business to business, often you'll find your ideal clients already have a solicitor acting for them, but you have to get on their radar and they have to hear from you consistently until the point that they are fed up with their current lawyer and ready to change, and you need to be in front of them at that point so that they can come to you. So it's very much all about growing your contact list, your email list, and I'll look at that in more detail. Employment services, lawyers, B2B is the big one where DNA Nurture is in play. And in the private client side of things, you're normally a now business. There may be some areas such as lasting powers of attorney where people do some research and try and find out what it actually is before they'll go for it. So in those cases, you'd want to build an email list, but the majority of private client services are in the now camp. Now let's talk about you as consultants, and I fully understand this challenge you have now. You've got to look after your clients, but you've also got to make sure that your future client pipeline is primed, because if you don't, you end up riding what I talk about in the book, the marketing roller coaster, in that you start at the beginning, you do lots of marketing because you've got no clients coming in. You get to the top of the hill, clients start coming and you're busy, you stop marketing, you go back down it, and the process goes on and on forever. So you don't want to do that. So the key thing I've found for all of my successful clients is if I can get them to start their day doing 30 minutes, no more, working on their business before checking emails, before looking at social media, if I can get them doing that every day, ideally, but 3 out of 5 days a week, then they will get the consistency they're looking for in terms of client intake. So I understand the challenge of client fee earning work will always come first, which is why I say don't look at your emails, don't look at that fee earning work until you've done the marketing that you need to do on your consultancy practice. If you don't crack that, you will suffer from the marketing roller coaster, have good periods and quiet periods. And that's no fun. Whereas if you can just put in place some automated processes, you can have as many clients as you want with a very little amount of time spent. So it's well worth getting the system in place. So let's look at your marketing arteries. There's only 4 of them. And the good thing is that these 4, I've had clients that obviously are in the tens of thousands. I've clients in 6 figures, clients 7 figures, and my biggest clients have passed 8 figures, past 10 million. And the thing that always surprises most solicitors that I speak with is that it's not that they need 100 different marketing tactics to get past 10 million or to get past 100,000 or 1 million. It's normally 2 or 3, but it's 2 or 3 done properly and done consistently. And that's where most people struggle, that they'll put in place, they'll try one thing, give up on it, try another, give up on it. It's the consistency of doing, refining, optimizing, and improving the marketing arteries that will get you to whatever turnover limit you're looking to get to. And the main arteries are your referral network, particularly important for consultants. So I'll spend the first bit of time on that. Your email list, because what you want to be able to do is, as I say, especially if you're a nurture business, you're a B2B, you need to be able to talk to people until they are ready to buy your services. If you don't do that, you will leave a lot of money on the table. If I didn't have an email list, there's no way I'd have the business I've got now. And it's the same for anyone that has a nurture business. It's something you need to do. And I'm more than happy to share a guide with you how to set it up. If you've got a website, I know Nigel said some of you do, then that's a lovely place to get some more clients through, both with organic traffic and with Google Ads, which can drive instant traffic to it. So they're your 4 main arteries. And for most of you, 1 or 2 of them performed consistently will be all you need to get to the turnover that you'd like. So as I say, people are often surprised that it's not hundreds of them. With consultants, I know from experience that your first instructions, I don't know, some of you have been new, some have been doing it longer, but your first instructions will always come from your past contact list. And so I have a very simple process that I advise all consultants to follow. And if you haven't yet done this, it's literally the one social media place where it's essential for you to be. If you're B2B, if you're a nurture business, is on LinkedIn. You need a decent profile. You need to connect with absolutely everyone that you've ever worked with, worked for. So that could be other solicitors. It will be people that used to refer to you, old clients. And most people I know haven't done this because I asked them. And yet there's so much easy work out there. You know, the plan is if you connect with everyone you know, once you've connected with everyone you know, find your ideal clients on LinkedIn. And I've got a training that shows you how to do that, which I'll mention later. Connect with 10 a day. Post once a week, so we're not talking about spending hours on this at all, and you will get referrals from LinkedIn. I've got some professional service providers. That's all they do to generate their inquiries. So it works a treat. It doesn't take hours, but it can be a very effective form of marketing for you. The key thing with referrals, whether they come from LinkedIn or otherwise, is that as you're now the business owner, you're the consultant, you need to keep track of referrals you receive in and what they're worth to you, and referrals that you send out, particularly because so many consultants if you could find 5 or 6 that you really click with and you have a similar client base but do different services, that again could be all you need to have a little referral network, sending it backwards and forwards. But the reason I say you've got to track it all in the spreadsheet is because no one else will. So you might find that you've sent 10 referrals to another solicitor. They've never sent you one back. You only know that if you record every single referral you send and track what it's worth to that client or that solicitor, and then say, oh, you know, Nigel, I've sent you 10 leads. I haven't had anything through from you. What can we do? And one of the ways that I'll come on to that you can generate referrals for others is if you're in a niche, then you can only talk about what you do. But if you've got 4 or 5 people in this network, you can also talk about what they do to generate work, not only for yourself, but for them. When it comes to email marketing, you've got more to talk about. As long as your clients are the same sort of people doing the same sort of things, you can share content with each other, grow your email list, and generate inquiries for each other and for yourself. So let's move on to that. As I say, for all solicitors, all of my clients that I've worked with for any length of time have an email marketing list, and they email it at least once a month. And that's all I'd say you need to do as well. I made the mistake of not starting my email list till about 12 months in, and it cost me a lot. And you know, if you're in the nurture category, you've definitely got to get people onto your email list, because otherwise what happens is you could have, if you've got a decent website, you can have a brilliant website, they land on it at the time that they're not quite ready to use you, but they like everything about it. If you don't offer them an item of value, such as a guide to trademarks or a guide to patents or whatever it might be, whatever your service is, they leave your website and then they forget who you were when they're looking for help, and you never see them again. So it's so important that you have an email list that grabs people, that you can talk to them once a month, and they have a chance of understanding your expertise. You can go into more detail about what you do, how you help, share case studies, successful results you've achieved, and it will provide a steady pipeline for you. As I say, so many clients of mine just do referrals and email marketing, and that produces all they need. So it really is one of those areas that's pretty vital. I'm going to add to the resources pack the email marketing guide, because everyone says to me, Nick, it's too hard, you know, doing an email list. No one will want to go on it. What am I going to do? How do I do it? Well, I'll let you see the guide, and you can see it's really not hard. Like I said, for most of you, 3 mornings, 30 minutes first thing, you can get your email, you can get your referral plan done, and you can generate as many clients as you'd like. In terms of a website, and I'm happy if any of you have your own website and you're happy for me to critique it, I shall gladly do that in about 15 minutes time. Have a look at your website and just tell you how you could improve it. But you will obviously understand that the sole purpose the purpose of this chat is to get them to give you their contact details. If you can get someone to your website, it's fantastic. If you can get them to make an inquiry, if you've got a now business, even better. If you've got a nurture business, you want to get them to download something so that they get onto your email list. And then you talk to them ad infinitum until they're ready to instruct you. And the key thing with a website is that you've got to build trust, because when I started analyzing Google Analytics, which is a tool telling you how people interact with a website, people would spend on average about 2 minutes on a site, and they'd look at 2, 3, 4 pages. That time, as we all become busier, has gone down and down. If you can get someone on your site for 90 seconds, you're lucky. So you haven't got a lot of time. And in that time, you have to convince the person visiting your site that you are the best at the legal service that you provide. And you build that trust through what I call depth of expertise and proof of expertise. Depth of expertise means that you have enough pages around your topic of expertise that someone thinks, okay, this isn't just a one-page site. They clearly know what they're talking about. And also on each of those pages, there's enough content. And often I find it funny, but often solicitors will say, well, if I put too much content on there, then they won't pick up the phone and speak to me, because they could just do it themselves. But I can assure you, most clients out there can't and don't want to do it themselves. But they do want to believe that you are the best person for the job, and that comes down to the depth of content on each page and each area. And you will not. The trouble with having very little content on a site is that Google won't understand what it's about. It won't know what you do. It won't be able to send you any visitors, and therefore you won't get any inquiries. Whereas if you have a website with hundreds of pages, it absolutely will reward you. And my last law firm, the one success I achieved for them was to build them a massive website. This was in 2001, 2002, which was ahead of its time in terms of content and pages, loads of pages, and it produced an awful lot of business. And about a year later, I bumped into the senior partner, and he proudly told me he'd got rid of my ugly big website with all that content, and he changed it into a lovely little 5-page brochure site. And I said, oh, and overnight your phone stopped ringing, didn't it? He said, how did you know that? Because he'd got rid of all the content that created all the visitors and created the telephone ringing. So I know from testing for many years that content is absolutely vital, and more important than imagery. And a lot of people will, especially when they're pushed by their designers, website designers can be very painful. They want to design something beautiful every time, but give me an ugly site with lots of content every day of the week, because it will make the telephone ring off the hook. Web designers don't understand that and don't like it. And one of the problems I have is my book's quite strong towards website designers, because they've cost my clients so much money by building rubbish websites. So if you've got a website, you're going to have to upset your website designer, because very few of them understand how to build a decent website that makes your phone ring. Once you've got enough content on there, depth of expertise is proved through enough pages and enough content on each page. Then I want to see some external proof of that expertise. I want to see your client reviews on each page. And remember that particularly now, as more than 50% of people looking at legal websites are on a mobile, so they just see one column, that you want to sew in your reviews amongst the copy, so that as they're scrolling down, they see how you can help them, client review saying how great you are, call to action, then you add some more content, client review, call to action, and you repeat that process. Because if you make it hard for me to navigate your site or to work out how to get in touch with you, then I hit the back button and your competition gets the inquiry. So proof of expertise through client reviews, any panels you're on, personal injury panels, or the STEP panel, or any business panels you're on, and any times you've been quoted in the media. PR, I don't talk about in terms of marketing, because it's not a marketing tool. But where it is fantastic is if you have been featured in the press, it's a great conversion tool. If I land on, say, Nigel's website, and I see that he's been featured in the Times, the Sunday Times, and the Law Society Gazette, I think, wow, it really seems to know his stuff. It just ticks the box that it's not just him telling me he's good. He actually is good. because other people are saying it, his clients are saying it, that the Sunday Times has said it. It's a great, PR is a great conversion tool, not a great tool for generating inquiries. I say that from experience, having launched a legal brand and spent $5,000 a month on a top London PR company. Got some great publicity, featured in the Times, Sunday Times, but no clients for it. But it is really useful to be able to put that across the site. So that's where it's very helpful. Once you've built that trust with your client, the only purpose of your website is to get their contact details. As I say, for a now business where you've got that instant need for conveyancing, get on the phone, give me your telephone number in an inquiry form or email address, and I'll get back to you. If you've got a nurture business, then it's about, if you're B2B, it might be how to set up a business or what documents you need for a startup business, brochure that it goes into detail about what they need, but you get their email so you can follow up and keep talking to them. The other thing that works very well, if you get any volume of visitors, so maybe more for Nexa website than yours, is to have live chat on there hosted for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Which works very well because it's another form of interactivity that pops up and allows them to have a live chat. And there's companies that run that for you, so it's not something you have to do yourself. One other thing I'm going to mention, for those of you who don't have websites, you absolutely should have a Google My Business page, and you should have a process for collecting reviews for that page, because you can base that on your working address. You can collect reviews, and if someone searches locally for the services you provide, you can get inquiries straight from Google My Business. What does that look like? Where did I put it? So conveyancing solicitor Manchester, all of these listings here are Google My Business listings. And if we go into more of them, you can see there's some have got plenty of reviews. Reviews make an awful difference because Google is trying to put the ones that are best reviewed at the top. And the trick I always say with Google My Business is don't do what everyone's doing here. If you shut at 5, don't put close at 5, because as soon as you get to 4 o'clock, it says this business closes soon. So it looks like you're already shut. So, have a call center answering system 8 till 8, and you will stand out above all of these firms that are shutting at 5 or 5:30. But yeah, Google My Business is a fantastic tool, straightforward to set up. And when you get wonderful client reviews, it's very worth you asking them to put it on Google My Business for you. Finally, if I'm going to show you a marketing plan a bit, finally, the other way of getting people to your site, if you have one, is Google Ads. And I manage a lot of Google Ads campaigns across a range of services. The reason I love Google Ads is because if you said to me, I've got this website, it's working really well, but I just want more clients from it, you could turn on Google Ads today, and tomorrow you get those visitors to your site and your phone rings more. It really is that simple, and it can all be done for you, so you don't actually have to master the art of Google Ads, which is absolutely an art. So if I've done a search here for work accident claim, you can see Slater and Gordon at the top, other firms as well. They're all, if I click on their ads, which I won't because that wouldn't be very nice, they'll all spend some money for me to go through to their site. I pay Google. Google makes 32 billion, I think, a quarter from Google Ads. It's the majority of their profit. And I still have a lot of solicitors. I was on with a client yesterday. They've been doing Google Ads since, I think, 2011. And he still says, I don't know why it works. I never click on them, so I can't believe anyone else does. But that's the one thing about marketing you should never do. Base it on your own opinion, just base it on testing and see what does actually happen. But yeah, Google Ads, these are at the top here. And the holy grail of marketing is, for me, when it comes to Google, so, and remember with Google, you've got a easy life marketing tactic here. If I'm looking for a work accident claim solicitor, for example, I am in need because I've had an accident at work and I want someone to help me now. The holy grail would be that I'd be in the Google Ads position at the top, I'd be in the organic positions here, and I'd be in the Google map listing that would come up here if I was searching locally. If you can do that, then you are going to get the majority of the claims, because again, it's that sort of, well, look, they're top of Google there, they're in the map and they're in the organic search. They must be good at this. Otherwise, how would they do that magic? So yeah, if my clients can get in those 3 positions, then I know they're going to be very successful online. And as I say, it provides instant inquiries. If you've got a now business and you're billing quickly, then you can generate a return on investment from month one. So, if you're doing conveyancing, where you're going to get paid quite quickly, family law, or anything where you do an instant bill as soon as a client signs up with you for an initial assessment, you can make Google Ads return pay for itself from day one. Ideally, I'm looking for a minimum 3-to-1 return on investment, but I have clients that have had 30-to-1 return on investment from their Google Ad spend. So, if you get it right, it really is just turning a tap on. For a nurture business, excuse me, obviously you've got to have the finance and the time to build that list, knowing that you're not going to get a return on investment for some time to come. So it's definitely not as easy with a nurture business, unless you've been going for a while and you've got a cash pot and you just want to grow to the next level. But for an our business, it absolutely can pay for itself very quickly. So I'm going to quickly show you a marketing plan. I'm going to give you this so you can look at it in more detail. I offer this service called Marketing for Solicitors. And I said to Nigel, we haven't talked to him, I said I'd make a special offer to any Nexa consultant who would like to join. But so you can try before you buy, I'm going to give you some of the resources that you would get if you were members. One of them is a marketing plan, both for your nurture business and then one for your now business. It will all be contained in the same document, but it will allow you to have a good look through. Excuse me. So that you can go into more detail of what I've sort of rushed through today, just conscious that we've only got a set period of time. But I'll give you this document which goes into more detail about the type of marketing you should be doing, about nurture and now, so that it really resonates. Because as I say, if I can get you to understand that, I know that you won't waste money on the wrong types of marketing, which is one of my massive bugbears. So I'll give you access to this in the resources pack. So yeah, in that pack, I'll give you the marketing plan. I'll add the email marketing guide, made a note to myself, and then I'll tell you more about marketing for solicitors. And as I say, well, Nigel and I will have a chat, and I'll see what I can do to make a special offer to you. Have we got any questions? Anything you'd like me to? Nexa uses Google Ads for finding lawyers, and it works. We can set it up for your client focused marketing too. Just ask. Great. Yeah, Nexa, Google Ads is fantastic. Thanks for that, Nigel. I don't know where you've got your keyboard, but it's a very interesting shot. Just looking at your fingers. Any tips on writing bios, profiles? In terms of how we can maximize our next landing page. So bios, do you want to unmute yourself, Nigel? Go on.
Yeah, in terms of, obviously we list all our lawyers, and
yes.
we have a profile of all our lawyers on Nexa.law. And a lot of our lawyers and new joiners are uncomfortable with talking about themselves and how they should promote themselves on their bios. So any tips about?
Yeah, so one of my best.
And what's interesting to the ultimate consumer, that's what we want.
Okay, so one of the easiest ways to get around that is to let your clients talk for you if you're too shy or bashful to do it yourself. So, you can explain who you work with, what you do for them, and then I always say, so that's my sort of how to write your own bio is who do you work with, what do you do for them, and then prove it. So the prove it bit is where you can use client reviews that you've had over the years to highlight the points you're making in your bio of why they should choose you in the first place. So yeah, so that's the who you work with, what you do for them, and prove it bit is what I'd use to write that bio. Let your clients, show what you've done, and it's something I do too, because it is horrible talking about yourself. It's a strange thing, even for a marketing man. But if you can let your clients do it. So I've got a company I use who speak to my clients, and if they're happy, they give me lovely case studies, and that's on my website because it does a much better job than me. So it's another point to that external proof of expertise that you're looking for. You can get your client case studies and reviews. It works a treat. And for your email marketing, if you start an email list and talk to it, if you can just talk about the results anonymously that you've got for your clients, one client was in this position, this is how we got around it, this is what they got. That resonates so much more with people because they can say, oh, that's me. That's exactly the problem I've got now. So now I can see how you can fix it. Let's have a chat. And the other thing I'd say there is, it's for the reasons that I've said, but also what you said. You've got your Nexa profile. You've also got your LinkedIn profile. And normally, if you go looking for any solicitor, you'll find their LinkedIn profile before any other profile. So it's really important that they have a fully up-to-date LinkedIn profile. And I've got training, as I say in there, that shows you how to do that. Because for me, LinkedIn for consultants listers particularly can be a real useful source, because if you just connect with everyone that you worked with in the past, and they say, oh right, Nigel, you're at Nexa now and you're doing this, I see what you're doing, and you post on there once, oh actually I've got some clients, I've got nowhere else to send them, let's have a chat. But that's where the consistency is so important, getting people to actually post just once a week. I'm definitely not, as you'd have gathered at the beginning, into spending all day every day on social media, but if you can add 10 people on LinkedIn, post once a week, add 10 people a day, post once a week, you'll generate referrals from that without doubt. I think you put another comment in there, have you, Nigel? Bill,
yeah, there's a couple more questions.
Yeah, okay. Bill Dees, what type of law does Bill do? Because whether you have to spend a fortune, his question is, sorry, I have one about Google Ads. To get to the top of the list, don't you have to invest a fortune? It depends on a couple of things, Bill. What type of law you target?
Bill's a company lawyer that's a former in-house lawyer.
A former what, sorry?
In-house lawyer, general counsel.
Right, okay, commercial primarily. So no, it's not as expensive. If you were going to say to me personal injury, then absolutely £20 to £40 per click through to your website. But even at that level, you can make it very profitable. And the good thing about Google is that if you are very focused in what you go after, and you make everything, you get your ducks in a row. So Google wants to see, so I put in here, work accident claim solicitor. Ideally, I should see ads that say work accident claim solicitor. So we've got accident work solicitors, we've got claim in here. So the more relevant the ad is to the search term, the better. And then if I land on those sites, if the page is all about the search term I've put in, so I see those keywords at the top of the page and throughout the page, and the person stays on my site longer, Google Ads will track all of this. So the better you do at making your ads absolutely match the keywords and making the landing page that they go to on your site exactly match those keywords, the less you will pay. So you could actually have, I used to have a personal injury client spending 6 figures a month on Google Ads, and we used to beat Slater and Gordon and Irwin Mitchell and all the big guys. Not just because I did the detail a lot more than the big agencies they were using did, because I understood how important Google is, how important Google makes your website as much as the Google Ads itself. Most agencies just focus on Google Ads and think that's good enough. But if you make the website work harder, you spend less on the traffic. Google rewards you for doing a better job, which I've always liked about Google. And then, so, you could be paying in commercial, you might be paying £3 a click. But your competition might be paying £10 a click because they're doing it really badly because they have too many keywords in one group. So someone puts in commercial solicitor, and in that they've got business solicitor, which isn't the same. It's not the same search term, so it won't work as well. And they might have startup business solicitor, all under the banner of commercial solicitor. It's not matching. You'll pay more. Google, go on.
Right, Nick, one of our lawyers, Amy, do you want to say anything about your Google Ads that you did for franchise?
Oh, franchise work's a treat.
Yeah.
I had a big franchise.
I don't know if Amy is, I see she's on, I don't know if she's listening, but if Amy wanted to say anything, whether it was successful or not.
Hi, yeah, I am listening. Can you hear me?
Hello, Amy.
Yeah.
Yep. Hi.
Hello. I was just trying to work out how to turn on my video really quickly, but I'm afraid I couldn't quite work it out. So I use the Google Adwords Ppc for my campaign. I must confess I can't remember my December figures off the top of my head, but I don't know whether it's quite successful because my area is quite niche.
Yeah.
So with franchising, it'd be people searching for franchise lawyer, franchise disputes.
Yeah.
And I think I'd probably put, in terms of budget, usually costs, I don't know, about 250 quid a month.
Right.
And I get a lot of inquiries. Conversions are probably quite high, actually. So I don't know, 60-70% will convert. Right,
nice. Okay, so that bit's well, and for that investment, you're doing well there. Is it B2B or are you dealing with the franchisee or both?
Franchisee mainly, although we don't rule out the franchisor stuff.
No,
just my reputation's more franchisee.
Yeah, well, that's good, because that's definitely much easier to convert, because it's more of the now business. Someone's looking for franchise advice immediately. So no, do you know how many clicks you're getting for that 250 spend? I'm going to say probably about 50, 60 maybe.
Yeah, I do have the figures, but I haven't got them in front of me,
Okay.
unfortunately. But I think sometimes my spend for the conversion can be about 25 quid.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
So the only thing I'd say to you is that sort of spend, knowing roughly what the cost per click would be, I'd be saying, spend more if you want to earn more, because with Google, it's always a case of, if you have Google does a daily budget, so your 250 is set at, say, £8-10 a day. And once you've spent that, you won't get any more traffic to your site. So what I always look for with clients is say, look, if you've got the capacity, spend more, it's already working, turn it up. And the tipping point I usually find is when you can get about 300 clicks a month, you get more consistency of inquiries and volume of inquiries. And so it's easier to predict what your income's going to be from that. Did you want me to look at your landing page?
Well, mine specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do, yeah.
Where would I find you? Well, do you send them to Nexa site or to your own site?
To the Nexa site.
Oh, okay.
So I think probably if you Googled, well, I would have to pay for your click then, won't I? But
No, I won't do that. Let me go this way. There you go. Come up. So do you send them to this page?
Do you know what? I'm not sure whether it goes. No, I think it goes to a franchise specific page.
It goes to the service line. Yeah, it goes to the. If you click on that one, yeah,
and then go to. Let's find the franchise one. Am I allowed to critique this, Nigel?
Fill your boots, please. That's what you're here for.
Okay. Okay, nice. So let's go to the top of the page. So first thing I'd say is we land on the site, and what I really want to see first, we've got franchise law, but the firm name is sort of hidden, and I want to see the word solicitors really prominently, because it's such a badge of honor. So I can't even see it on there. I don't know whether it's just shaded out, but I would like to see Nexa Law solicitors big and bold, telling me, okay, I'm in the right place. That's good. So that's first thing. We got franchise law in first. That's great. I'd probably reduce the size of that image, because it's the content that sells, not images. So if we could make that a half or a third of its size, get me to the content first. Then we got a nice personalized introduction like that. I'd probably put a caption underneath confirming that's Amy, specialist franchise lawyer. So again, I'm just told I'm in the right place. Recognized expert, good. We've got a review there, that's good. Personally, I prefer to have content sort of all in one path, because we'd sort of trained to read newspapers and articles in that way, whereas I'm being sort of sent left, right. So, but they're similar sized boxes. It's not as confusing as it might be. 50-minute consultation. Got some more reviews to come, I hope. No, straight for the end. Okay. So what we're definitely missing, which could improve things, is repeat the call to action at the end. So you've got the inquiry form there, but also give me the option to telephone, so that if I'm ready to speak to someone immediately, I can phone Nexa Law and get put through to Amy. And then you've got the free inquiry form, which is vital, because I've done a lot of testing inquiry forms, and I would be inclined to say, have a separate inquiry form page as well. So what happens if I click that? Okay, it sends me down here. All right, that's fine. That works. But yeah, people like to fill in inquiry forms. Some people want to fill in inquiry forms. Some people want to send an email, so I'd have an email on there, and some people want a phone. And you need to repeat that option in each place, because it will get you more inquiries. If you make me sort of scroll up to find a phone number or down, again, as I said, you've got 90 seconds of my time. You've got to make it so easy for me to get in touch. So if I get down here and I'm the sort of person that wants to pick up the phone but doesn't want to fill in a form, you've got to give me the phone number.
Yeah.
And ideally, as I say, I'd also have live chat popping up saying, how can we help? This is someone from Nexa Law ready to talk to you. And that will make a difference. And for you, Nigel, for the firm wide, I think that could work very well for you.
Yeah, we did have live chat, actually.
Yeah.
Really good. I like it.
Was it managed for you?
Yeah, Moneypenny.
Yeah. Okay.
Brilliant.
They don't do 24/7, do they? That's the only thing.
No, but I think they probably do that. But
there's a company I recommend that do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and most of my clients try it and then stay with it because it gets the volumes up, because it's just another, someone's looking.
Well, yeah, because you pay a small amount for it, and then you pay for
each inquiry. That's right. Yeah,
and that's fine, because then you're paying
for results.
Exactly.
And then you can also get a refund if it's not your area of law or it's outside of your geographic area. So they're quite good.
Dan Jenkins had a question about chatbots. Dan, do you want to unmute yourself?
Hi, Nick.
Hi.
I've been speaking to a few people about chatbots. The reason being is, obviously, when people click through to the landing page, any subsequent action they need to take, you're likely to lose a percentage of them. A chatbot on the landing page, generally, what are your views on that, and how efficient is it? How good is it for cost?
Personally, detest them.
Okay.
For legal services, I wouldn't recommend them, because you're a professional service provider. I just think it's just not fitting to have, especially these automated ones that never quite understand what you're asking them, which is why I'd always go for live chat. I used to have an automated sort of live chat software, but live chat hands down will win every time. I just think what area of law do you practice in, Daniel?
Well, I was just wondering generally for, say, the Nexa landing page.
I just have live chat on there.
Okay.
I don't, I'm sure AI is going to work better, but I still just think, you're selling a prime service that if the average instruction is 500 grand, 2,000, a computer shouldn't be handling that initial contact. A real person should.
Very useful. Thanks, Nick.
You're welcome.
Nick, we're just in the process of developing an intranet so that we can communicate better internally. But I think there's potential for more of our lawyers to get more work internally.
Yeah.
And particularly as we're growing. Have you got any thoughts on that and how people do that? I mean, it's related.
Well, rather than build an intranet and take that expense yourself, why not create a LinkedIn group for your consultants? Then you've got the ability to refer people through that. It's easier to connect, to sort of send links to your clients or who you're working for. I just wonder whether that might work better. And then it gets your consultants onto LinkedIn at least once a day anyway, where they can then connect with their 10 people a day to grow their network. So intranets can cost a fortune. I'd be inclined to say it might be worth testing it on LinkedIn first.
Yeah, it's more, that's a separate discussion. But have you got particularly now that, and in consultant world, our lawyers are not seeing each other every day. So we've got 5 new joiners a month, and they want to get more work internally. Have you got any? I mean, it's visibility, isn't it?
Yeah. So do you
trying to work out who you should talk to?
Yeah. Do you have your own sort of newsletter that goes out weekly to your consultants?
No, it's on the radar though.
Okay, so I think that I'd be having a profile of a consultant every single week, and you probably could send 2 or 3 emails a week. They're your consultants, so that would be a way of getting straight into their inbox. Then LinkedIn group I think would be useful for sharing things with each other when they're getting results on LinkedIn particularly. And I guess in a way on the intranet, it would be a way of finding the best person for the job. So listing it, by service, search facility that can get you to something like, I want someone that does patents, or I want someone that does franchise law, and pulls down the options of who can help you. It's if hopefully the good thing about what I like about the consultant model is that each person is motivated to do a good job because it's their own practice under the Nexa law. Christelle, who's my remote PA, and if you ever need support services, she's great at what she does, and she used to be my legal secretary many years ago. That should suitably have embarrassed her. It looks like it has, good. But we used to have in that firm, you'd get people that didn't want to refer to a colleague. So they thought, he's not very good, I don't like him. What I like about the consultancy model is you have to be good at what you do, because otherwise you just won't get paid, you won't get billed. So it should be easy if your consultants refer to each other and have confidence that just by the fact that they've said, right, I'm going to set up my own thing, they're more involved in the process. But it's just then making it as simple as possible for me to go, right, I want a business lawyer, this is the area of law, this is the drop down, here's my 3 choices. And that's where their profile comes in. I suppose it's selling their expertise. But again, if they do that even to your own, if they're selling to each other, I helped Nick. He had this problem. This is how I got around it. He's happy as Larry. It's all sorted. That's where I love the profile bit being all about the client, because the clients then speak for how good the person is. So yeah, but it's just how quickly they can get to who they're looking for. And I assume you track referrals to each other and give credit for that, don't you? I think from memory.
Mm-hmm.
So there's another reason to do it as well. But I wonder whether, as you grow, it's just thinking off the top of my head, whether you're sort of better putting different teams together, because once you get to a certain size, you're too big. So I think the ideal business size is never more than 100. So if you've got 300 consultants, you might have 3 pods of 100 where they all know each other, where you've got someone covering every area of law. And then there's more chance that they can develop some relationships in there. Or maybe it's even smaller pods, so it's not just one big pod of everybody. It's right, Nick's in group A, Christelle's in group B, and Nigel's in group C. And maybe that's a way of as you grow your consultancy, keeping a sort of intimacy in each of the groups.
Yeah, we're thinking about that a lot, geographically, by service, business, private. Yeah,
that makes sense. So if you could do the both, so yeah, you have a mix of lawyers in that location. Yeah, it's probably the best way. And then it's likely that if their client needs some help and someone else is close to them, they can help. Although with Zoom we don't necessarily need to be close, but it's still always handy, the thought that one day we might actually be able to meet human beings again. We shall see. But yeah, I think that will come back. And yeah, the location thing, it is less important. We've all found that with Zoom, but I still think sometimes people will want to get together. So it makes sense to link your groups geographically.
Yeah, I think particularly private clients, the local bit is important.
Yeah. I've even found with things like personal injury, they still like the local element converts better over time. Average, Amy's just said her average cost per click December was £5.67 with 11 conversions. Yeah. So I thought it'd be about £5 or £6. So yeah, I'd just be focused on making that landing page better first, Amy, and then when you get the conversions up from the same spend, I would spend more money on it if you want more clients. It really is that simple. And maybe it's a case of I definitely drop in another 10 or 20 client reviews on this page, just to saturate me with your brilliance, and perhaps some case studies, so that we're getting that proof of expertise from the results you've achieved for your clients. That's what I'd definitely do. The biggest improvements you can make, the way I always say to my clients is improve your landing page, make it the absolute best that it can be, and then spend more on Google Ads. And maybe what you need is, a list of sub pages. So it might be, find out more franchise disputes or signing a franchise agreement advice or whatever other elements you work on. It'd probably be worth having sub landing pages for them, and then splitting your Google Ads campaign into smaller ad groups. So have one for franchise disputes, go straight to the franchise disputes page. One for checking a franchise agreement goes to that page. That will get you better results, because then it's, like I said, it's matching what I'm putting in. So I've landed on a page that says franchise disputes. It starts off talking about franchise disputes. Everything on the page is about franchise disputes. And then the other one for franchise agreement checks is focused solely on that. That will definitely get you better results. So it's worth the time. It'll also get you probably more organic traffic, free traffic from Google. So that's worth doing.
Brilliant. Thanks, Nick.
Have I missed any other questions, Christelle?
I don't think you have.
No, I think I've done everything. Okay. Anything else before we sign off, Nigel? Are you happy?
No, Nick, that was great. Thank you so much. I know
you're welcome,
everyone. And I will. I'll report. You and I will talk, and I'll feedback stuff that we get from our lawyers. But obviously, I would encourage everyone to contact you individually as well. We are a marketing unit as Nexa Law, but you're also all individual business units. So there's an extent. I hope Matt Dunn was listening, our head of business development, taking lots of notes. There's some really good tips on that. But no, thank you so much for your time, and to you, Christelle. And hopefully we're going to do some work together.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Nigel, and thank you all for your comments coming. Appreciate that. I will send you the recording. And what I'd say to you, Nigel, if there's anyone on the call, if you have a specific question that you didn't feel like asking today, just ping me an email. I'll happily answer it. And if there's topics that you think I would like to go into detail more on that, let Nigel know. I'm happy to do something else for you. I love the consultant model. I like the way Nexa do it. So I'm happy to do more for you.
Good on you, Nick. Thanks a lot.
Right,
Chris, thank you very much for your time. Hopefully we'll see you soon.
See you soon. Bye all.
Cheers. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye all.